Cars, bicycles, cameras, computers, almost anything these days comes with an owner's manual. Unfortunately, people don't. An owner's manual can help you to get the most out of a product and troubleshoot if something goes wrong with it. The simple course is an owner's manual to your mind. If you're completely happy with the way your mind works, you don't need this course. But if you struggle with your feelings, thoughts, or behaviors, you might find it useful. Many aspects of the human mind remain a great mystery, but increasingly, we have glimpses into how it functions. Knowing how it functions can, if we struggle emotionally, help ease our pain. It's a privilege to be with you, hopefully for all of the 29 simple sessions, in which together we will explore the mind and how to heal it. Welcome to the Simple Journey. The first two sessions of the Simple course provide an overview of the course. The first session is an orientation, whereas the second is an introduction to the course. What's the difference between the orientation and introduction sessions? If you think of the Simple course as taking a bus trip, session one, this session, orients you to the bus you will be traveling in and all its features. We talk about details such as the who, how, why, where, and when of the Simple course. Session 2, on the other hand, provides an overview of what you will be seeing on the trip. We talk about the what we will cover in the course. So now let's jump into the session today. So let me start by telling you what we're going to cover today. We're going to first introduce ourselves, tell you who this course is for, tell you what Simple is, give you a brief history of Simple, tell you about the different ways of doing Simple, how you can do the Simple course on YouTube, talk about what psychotherapy is, do our first mindfulness exercise, tell you what you need to do the Simple course, give you an idea of what the structure of the Simple sessions is like, talk about the different course resources. At the midway point, we will break for a 10-minute interval. We will have time for questions and comments after we come back. And in the second half, we'll go over participant agreements for the in-person and Zoom attendees. And we'll end by assigning homework for the coming week. To help you stay engaged with the material we're presenting, interspersed throughout each session are question slides such as this one. Let's start by telling you who we are, who Simple is for, and what Simple is. So to answer the question, who is Simple for? Anyone who experiences emotional dysregulation. What is emotional dysregulation? It's a disproportionate emotional reaction to events or intense emotions arising apparently from nowhere. Dysregulated emotions can be seen as the core problem, which again gives rise to dysregulated thoughts and behaviors. Signs of dysregulated emotions include depression, anxiety, high levels of shame and anger, self-harm, excessive substance use, high-risk behaviors, perfectionism, conflictual interpersonal relationships, issues with eating, suicidal thoughts, etc. Dysregulated emotions are often not just responses to present-day events. They are in part responses to present-day events that are compounded by a person's temperamental predispositions and their past, including the type of parenting they had and or previous traumatic circumstances they may have experienced. The main goals of this Simple course are to help people with emotional dysregulation become aware of, understand, and better regulate their emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Being well emotionally regulated means being able to stay calm or alert most of the time, as opposed to being in fight or flight, depressed, or dissociated. Being calm or alert is a state of physiological activation referred to as the window of emotional tolerance. At this point, you may be wondering why the course is called SIMPLE. SIMPLE is an acronym for Structured, Integrative, Integral Theory Inspired, Metaphysically Idealist, Mindful Psychotherapy that is learned easily. Let me explain why we came up with that acronym. As you will see, to help you learn, the course is very structured. It is integrative in that it brings together different models, including neurobiology, dialectical behavioral therapy, psychodynamic attachment and trauma theory, and integral theory. The word integral is a nod to philosopher Ken Wilber, whose work permeates the course, while idealist refers to philosophical idealism, which is becoming more accepted in academic philosophical circles, particularly as articulated by philosophers such as Bernardo Kastrup. Mindful, I won't explain right now, as it is the essence of the course, and we'll be talking about it in great detail. Simple stands on 4 pillars: neurobiology, dialectical behavioral therapy, psychodynamic attachment and trauma theory, and integral theory. Simple is a biopsycho socio-spiritual psychotherapy course / group that is geared towards anyone who experiences emotional dysregulation. Simple strives to synthesize knowledge from a variety of disciplines into a single framework. On the Simple website, I provide links to videos that illustrate aspects of the material that we discuss in the course. I encourage you to pause this YouTube video now, go to our website, it's simple2021.com, where you will find links to those videos. Each time you should pause this presentation to view a video on the website, I will let you know. You can view the videos by pressing Control on your computer, as you also click here for video. The next set of questions that we'll address is: what led to the development of the Simple course? How did a dialectical behavioral therapy group transform into the Simple course? What are the goals of the Simple course? What are the different ways of doing the Simple course? Let me start by giving you a brief timeline of the Simple course. Some of the significant moments of the Simple course include 1993, Linehan publishes Cognitive Behavioral Treatment of Borderline Personality Disorder, and DBT is born. 1997, the first DBT group is offered at Stratford General Hospital. From 1997 to 2022, DBT evolves into Simple. In 2022, Simple goes virtual. 2022-23, it's the 25th year of the course, and 2023, Simple is offered on YouTube. The Simple course started to evolve around 1997. I finished my training in psychiatry in 1989. I then, for 7 years, practiced hospital psychiatry in a suburb of Montreal called Longueuil. Shortly after Marshall Linehan published her 1993 book, Cognitive Behavioral Treatment of Borderline Personality Disorder, I came across her work, and because she was so innovative in the way she thought about personality disorders, it greatly influenced my practice. In 1996, I moved to Stratford and introduced dialectical behavioral therapy at the Stratford General Hospital. In 1997, mental health nurse Maureen Prattley and I started the first DBT group in Stratford. I was also at one point invited to help develop a DBT program at Regional Mental Health Care London and worked there part-time for 5 years. From 1997 to 2022, DBT evolved into Simple for 2 main reasons. Keep in mind that the original DBT model consisted of 4 components. For clients, there was a 2.5-hour a week skills teaching group, 1 hour a week of individual therapy sessions, as well as access to a 24/7 crisis skill coaching telephone line. For therapists, there was a weekly therapist supervision by experienced therapists. So reason 1, most providers offering the DBT model quickly realized they did not have the resources to deliver these 4 components of pure DBT. Most providers came up with DBT adaptations, the most common of which was offering the skills training group by itself. Simple strives to combine both the group and individual components of DBT in one course. Reason 2. The original DBT model was created 30 years ago. Since that time, our understanding of psychological issues has greatly evolved. Psychodynamic theory, attachment, and trauma theory did not feature prominently in the original DBT model. Simple has a DBT core, but also incorporates these other approaches. What are the goals of the Simple course? Just as we each have an ecological footprint, we also have an emotional footprint, which can have a range of effects from positive to negative on ourselves and others. This emotional footprint is also known as a person's energy or qigong. Our emotional footprint is related to our emotional intelligence, which is defined as our ability to recognize and regulate both our emotions and those of others. Simple seeks to foster emotional regulation and intelligence, healing of mental health issues, and a positive emotional footprint by helping participants to 1. Learn a model of how the mind works. 2. Become more mindful or aware of their physical sensations, feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. 3. Better emotionally self-regulate by learning how to return from emotional to rational or calm mind and increasingly be able to stay in the window of tolerable emotions. 4. Have hope, knowing they have some control and can change some things in their lives. 5. Be kind to themselves. See themselves as survivors, not victims or perpetrators, who are doing the best they can, but want to do better. 6. Have a realistic, positive story about themselves. 7. Be kind to their body. Listen to it. Do physical movement, breathing, and meditation practices. 8. Learn to connect with themselves, others, nature, a meaningful occupation, and a meaningful universe. Is Simple a group or a course? In a group, there is less structure than in a course, and there are more spontaneous interactions between group members. A course is structured by material it intends to cover. Simple is quite structured as there is a lot of material to cover, but there is also significant opportunity for spontaneous interactions. Now, sometimes just attending the course, which may be something new to you, without becoming overwhelmed, can be a challenge. While we encourage participant involvement in the discussions, this is not necessary. Some people may feel more comfortable just observing. The material in the course or comments made by the co-leaders or other participants may trigger you, often the same ways you are triggered outside of the course. This may be a good opportunity to practice what we will learn in the course, how to regulate dysregulated emotions. If during a session you need a self-care break, feel free to take one and come back to the session when you're ready. Some people think that the ideal psychotherapy is one-on-one or individual. It's also common to assume that group therapy or a course isn't as effective, or it's second best. This is a fallacy. While individual and group therapies each have advantages and disadvantages, research shows that they are relatively equivalent in effectiveness. Both group and individual therapies have particular benefits. These include the benefits of group therapy is that it assures individuals they are not alone. It connects them to others in similar situations. It provides them with a different perspective on their issues. It allows them to receive and give support and helps them develop communication and socialization skills. In contrast, the benefits of individual therapy are it occurs in a more intimate setting, which provides an increased level of confidentiality, allows the therapist to fully focus on the individual, encourages sharing without fear of judgment, allows people to dig down deeper into their own issues, and allows for a more flexible schedule. Does a person have to attend the live group to do Simple? No. There are two ways of doing the simple course. The first is doing the live course either in person or virtually, and the second is doing the course using the YouTube channel. Let's first consider the live option. The live option is offered either in person or virtually. In the live course, we have up to 100 spaces for Zoom participants, but can only accommodate 20 people in person. If you are doing simple in person and miss 2 sessions without letting us know, we may give your spot to a person who is doing the course on Zoom and is on our waiting list to do it in person. If you are doing the course on Zoom, but at any point want to do it in person, let us know and we'll put you on a wait list. If you are doing the course on Zoom and miss sessions or decide not to continue the course, we would like to hear from you. Please email us. How do you do the simple course on YouTube? The YouTube simple videos allow people who cannot attend the live course to do the simple course on their own. The simple YouTube videos are meant to be used along with the simple manual, the skills training workbook, and the PowerPoint slides for each of the 29 simple sessions that can be found on the itssimple21.com website. If you can't attend the live simple course, if you have started it but can't continue, or if you miss live sessions, you could do the course on YouTube. The YouTube videos can be used to do the course 1, on your own, 2, in a group setting with the facilitation of a mental health professional. Option 2 allows for the group to view the videos on their own or in a group, and to have the opportunity for questions, comments, and to practice the tools, skills, and strategies together with the help of a mental health professional. The YouTube videos also allow 3, a mental health professional with whom you are doing individual sessions to do all or parts of the simple course with you. There are 29 sessions in the YouTube course. As they build on one another, it's important that you do them in the right sequence. If you are pressed for time, you may choose to skip sessions 4, 6, 8, and 29. These are important if you want to consider the philosophical basis of simple, the development of the emotional brain, the development of the rational brain, social determinants of health, and some emerging ideas about the place of humankind in the universe. These sessions are, however, not crucial to your understanding of the main points of the course. Simple is a form of psychotherapy. But what is psychotherapy? Please go to the website to play the following 2 videos about psychotherapy. At the beginning of each session, we do a mindfulness exercise. Our first mindfulness exercise is called the Sensory Soothing Toolkit. Senses can be powerful emotional triggers. A certain smell can fill us with memories and their accompanying feelings. A soothing touch can help us to feel safe and calm. The right music can bring us to tears or fill us with peace. Sensory experiences can be harnessed to help us regulate our emotions. A sensory toolkit can help prevent overwhelming emotions, especially if you incorporate them into your daily routine. We follow mindfulness exercises by 1 minute of silence. For Zoom participants, for next week's mindfulness exercise, please have some raisins available. For the in-person participants, we will bring the raisins. What does a person need to do this simple course? You need 5 things to do the course. First, you need the simple manual. It costs approximately $13. You also need the skills training workbook, which is $29. You need the 3-ring binder, access to the simple website, itssimple2021.com, and access to the It's Simple YouTube channel or the live course. You also need your active participation. Both of the books we use in the simple course are available on Amazon. in both ebook or paperback format. This is their covers. Make sure you get the second edition of the Skills Training Workbook. The pages we assign as homework from the workbook are different in the first and the second editions. Please get a 3-ring binder, preferably with 30 separation tabs, one for each session. Have it with you at each session. You can use it to keep your weekly homework, crisis plans, diary cards, chain analysis, etc. You can use it to jot down notes. On the back page, we encourage you each week to rate on a 0 to 10 scale how well you think you did the homework. Write the date and next to it, write your score. This is only for you. You won't share it with anyone. It's meant to help you connect the effort you put into the homework with the benefits you'll get from the course. Most importantly, across different therapy models, the most important predictor of positive change is the client's emotional engagement with the work. You'll get the most from the course if you actively emotionally engage in it. This includes doing the homework, reading the skills, tools, strategies, theory, and reviewing the PowerPoint presentations ahead of the sessions. Intentionally and mindfully applying what you are learning in the course in your day-to-day life. The benefits you'll get from the course are proportional to the effort you put into it. Do the homework, stay organized, and practice, practice, practice. Your active participation will lead to effective learning. There are different types of learning: intellectual, experiential, and effective. Intellectual learning is learning about ideas, concepts, and practices in your mind. It involves reflecting and thinking. Experiential or practical learning is learning to apply the ideas, concepts, and practices learned in everyday life. It involves acting and experiencing. It is where the rubber hits the road. Effective learning is learning that produces desired or intended results. Effective learning requires both intellectual and experiential learning. Each week, in the 3 hours of the Simple course, we will do intellectual learning along with some experiential learning. At home, practice applying the tools, strategies, and skills assigned in the homework. You will hopefully do a lot of experiential or practical learning. Both of these types of learning are necessary for you to effectively learn and get the most out of the course. Please view the YouTube video to which there is a link on the website. How are simple sessions structured? To try to make learning easier, simple sessions follow a very consistent format. We present videos related to the course material. We present reminders for the live participants. At the beginning, we do a mindfulness exercise. We then describe what we will do in the session. We review the previous week's homework and assign the next week's homework. On alternating weeks, we present psychological theory, tools, skills, strategies, and do group practice. At the midpoint, there's a 10-minute break. In the live course, or YouTube, a course led by a mental health professional, there is time for questions, comments, and feedback, as well as discussion. Are there other simple resources that you should know about? One of the simple resources is the website itssimple2021.com. When you go to it, click News, and there you will find announcements, schedules, and downloadable PowerPoint files, which we use for each of the sessions. Each year that we offer the course, we update the PowerPoint slides and post them shortly after that week's session. This means you might find PowerPoint slides on the website from both the previous as well as the current year. After opening and downloading the presentation, you can click Enable Editing and Enable Content if you want to edit the slides and view the videos. PowerPoint slides are easier to view if you already have PowerPoint or a free PowerPoint viewing app on your device. On the website, you'll also find a list of mental health resources and key slides. Another simple resource is our email. This is for live participants only. Our new email is itssimple2023@gmail.com. We've changed it from last year. On the morning of the session, prior to it, we will review questions, comments, and feedback emailed to us. When appropriate, we will address these questions, comments, and feedback at the beginning of each session. Unfortunately, in between sessions, we cannot review or answer your emails. You can also email us if you want to volunteer for a in-class practice. We will work with you in the session on using the tools and skills we've learned and applying them to your circumstances. Is there a break at the midway point of the session? There is, and you can use it as you like. We also provide some yoga videos that you might do during this time. Following the break, we usually take time for questions, comments, and feedback. Some of the material that follows applies mostly to participants doing the live course or doing the YouTube course in a group. Does the simple course ask participants to abide by certain codes of conduct? Confidentiality has been a cornerstone of medicine as far back as the ancient Greeks. The Hippocratic Oath, which every physician takes upon graduating, states, "What I may see or hear in the course of treatment, or even outside of treatment, in regard to the life of men, I will keep to myself." The World Health Organization provides guidelines on medical confidentiality. It states that all information must be kept confidential, and that information can only be disclosed if the patient gives explicit consent, or if the law specifically provides for it. Consent is presumed sometimes where disclosure is to other healthcare providers involved in the patient's treatment. And all identifiable patient data must be protected. Although participants in the course aren't healthcare providers, we ask you to respect other participants' confidentiality. The Simple Course Code of Conduct Agreement has evolved organically over the years. It is a document which participants and co-leaders agree to abide by. Course participants will act kindly and respectfully towards each other, facilitators, and themselves. Personal information discussed in the course will not be shared or discussed outside of the course, including the names of individuals in the course. Regularly attending sessions will help learn the skills. Course participants will strive to arrive on time and stay until the end of the session. Course participants will strive to do this assigned homework between sessions. Course participants will be mindful that discussing subjects such as self-harm, suicide, and substance abuse in depth during the sessions may trigger others. If you are doing the live course virtually, we will let you in when you log on. If you log in at a later point in the session, we may be busy with something else, so please be patient. If you are doing the course in person, please legibly write your first and last names on the attendance sheet as you come into the room. If you are doing it virtually, please have your first and last name on the screen. In-person course participants will let the facilitators know if they are feeling triggered and need to leave the room to take a break. Course participants will validate each other, avoid judgments, and assume the best about each other. In-person course participants will avoid side conversations when another individual is speaking. Virtual live participants will be mindful about overusing the chat box. During discussions, course participants can provide examples from their own experiences. Participation is encouraged but not necessary. Course participants will not, outside the course, engage with other participants in problematic behaviors. Live course participants will avoid forming new sexual or private relationships with other participants for the duration of the course. Course participants will not attend sessions under the influence of drugs or alcohol. We also have a code for live Zoom participants. Mute your microphone when you're not using it. Keep your camera on for the duration of the session, excluding breaks. That's because we need to be able to see each other to establish trust and ensure confidentiality. Ensure your screen name is your first name with your last initial. If 15 minutes into a session, we can't identify you, for reasons to do with confidentiality, we may have to remove you from the session until we can. Ensure you are alone in your space and that no one can see or hear the other participants. We encourage participant sharing and request that you raise your hand virtually or raise your real hand if you have a question or comment. We will come back to you at an appropriate time. Keep your questions and comments brief, no more than 1 or 2 minutes. Refrain from sharing personal stories outside of specific session times provided for this. Avoid overusing the chat box. Keep the following in mind when you are sharing. Course participants are encouraged to share their thoughts in the session during the times reserved for comments and discussion. Participant contributions are generally considered by most participants to be the most valuable aspect of the course. You will notice that the co-leaders strive to time manage during the course so that all the different components of each session are adequately covered. In every session, there will be a total of around 45 minutes for discussion, and this is divided into the beginning, middle, and end of the session. During these weekly discussion periods, we usually do not go very deeply into anyone's personal issues. On a regular basis in sessions, we do set aside a much longer period of time for the co-leaders and volunteer participants to work together using personal examples to put into practice the material we're learning in the course. Here, we may go more deeply into the volunteers' issues. The co-leaders try to give everyone who wants to a chance to participate. That means we may not be able to have as fulsome a discussion about any one person's concerns as we'd like to. You may see us doing some gentle time management. Sharing emotional material can have a significant effect on all course participants. Many course participants have had traumatic experiences in their lives, and emotions associated with these experiences can be easily triggered when hearing of other people who have had similar experiences. Take this into account and use the tools, skills, and strategies to recognize and try to regulate your feelings when you are sharing. We will help you stay emotionally regulated. In each session, a participant agreement reminder slide will be posted. Please mute the microphone when not using it. This is for virtual participants. Also keep your camera on. Please, unless you think it's something very important, keep your questions, comments, and feedback for the 3 discussion periods that are at the beginning, middle, and end of the sessions. If you have questions, comments, or feedback, raise your real or virtual hand. We'll take note and get to you at an appropriate time. Keep comments, questions, and feedback relatively brief so everyone has a chance to participate. No side conversations. Overuse the chat function when we are covering course material and during interactive times. Make sure no one can overhear what's being said. And for reasons that will become clear later in the course, avoid giving extensive advice to other participants. Is there homework for the coming week? The homework for the coming week is to read Simple Manual Session 1 and 2. For virtual participants, please have a handful of raisins or similar dried fruit ready for next week's mindfulness exercise. Please write the above down so that you remember, or you can also view it and all the PowerPoint slides on our website. It's simple2021.com. Finally, upon completion of the Simple course, each of the participants receives a diploma. Thank you for your attention and see you next week.